So we are going to see after the first green book, we are going to proceed to the, you can say, upper beginner. So we'll have the original book 2, but as you can see, it's a testing version. So I would say this is the gap between this one, the first one, and the second one is super large. So as you can see, even in lesson 10, we have dialogue, like between 1 or 2 person conversation. For example, three dialogue, and they are pretty straightforward and simple. But then the second book, it's super difficult. I think the approach changed a bit in the second one. I can see that's more conversation, like longer. It's no longer conversation. I would say it's a person to express the view. So it would be, to me, the style of the second book is a reading, like it's focused on reading more content, more words. So the first one is to prepare you to have simple conversation, to give you the confidence to speak. And this one is to express your view, but before that you need to have content, your own content. Then you need to read. So it's still a very good book. So let's see what's here. So the first one is to introduce something new. It actually start with a speech of a person to welcome people from other places to visit CUHK, the university, and they welcome them with a welcome speech, and you can see it's totally different. And then the second one is very functional, how to rent a place. The third one is, do you have any suggestion? So you can see, well, the fourth one is about movie, commenting movie, expressing your reason, reminding friends some important things, refusing invitation. You can see this is like a B1 level in the European scale. So like, because in B1 you need to comment movie, you really have to express your opinion, and so, to reject, to complain, to compare to brands, and to apologize to the public. So this one is less, probably less interesting. Like, well, no. I can see it's a border view, like another level, which is important too. Okay, so let's see. All right. So they still have some language structure, like grammar, and it's pretty functional. So introduce activities, introduce your office. All right. So you can see orientation activities to freshmen in a college. I went through with another student, so it's definitely intermediate level. Okay, so let's see. 各位同學大家好，歡迎參加大學舉辦嘅歡迎晚會。我係大衛，係今年負責幫大學搞迎新活動嘅學生。我哋大學每年開學都舉辦一啲活動，歡迎新同學，幫大家認識校園，認識新朋友。So in this really short content, I think there would be like 5 words that you don't know, like it was not introduced in the book 1. For example, 負責, like take the responsible to do something, and 舉辦 is organize, 迎新 is to welcome new people, 認識 got to know, 校園 is the campus. All right, so we will have a tough time using this book right away. So you can see, wow, this is a speech. Like 2.1 is a speech to welcome, and 2.2 is he introduced his office to a new colleague. So then it's related to the printer, the password for the room, and so a lot of words, new words. Okay. And because of the content is like the width is larger, so you are introducing people, you're like renting a house, so the speaking part is more interesting. So for this one is, if you plan to go to America for 1 year, and then so your house is available, and then you want to rent to people. Now you have to discuss with the agents to introduce your place to the agent. So you can see it's quite challenging. All right. So I'm not worried about this book. This book is good, but not right now. So what we have to do probably to continue review the first book, I will try to see if I can use the vocabulary, like drill on the vocabulary. If you drill on vocabulary, you actually drill on grammar as well. So make sure that you remember all the book 1 vocabulary for sure, so you can proceed. So we kind of relearned it, but we tend to have maybe forget some of them. And so reviewing is good because it helps improve your fluency in conversation. Like for this one is the one that I highly recommend. It's the same author, Professor Lee. This one, it looks super Chinese, but don't worry about it. We will work together on it. So I like this book very much because it's meant for people, just like for Mandarin speaking people to learn. So why it's good? Because it will come up with lots of really basic words that you have to say. Okay, so let's show you the content. So this is like, the first one is just introduce yourself, so it's pretty good. But because it's for native Chinese speaker, then they have more thing to say, so it's more interesting. And then the first one is talk about your activities you do in campus, and like the activities as well. And then going out to buy things, talks about your leisure time, what will you do, talk about Hong Kong weather, introduce your home to people, very weird, introduce your home, to see doctor, to introduce Hong Kong, to talk about Hong Kong's life. So it's kind of interesting because if you want the native Mandarin speaker to learn Cantonese, then the content, if it is interesting and helping their life, it would be easier for them to use the language. So you can see. All right, so let's see the first chapter. It's the introduce yourself. So it's pretty easy. So they have the Mandarin content and the Cantonese content. 今日係指明寶珍、美美、嘉良同小燕第一日上廣東話堂，教佢哋嘅廣東話嘅先生陳小姐請佢哋介紹自己。So you probably understand the whole part. It won't come like just the word is simple. The vocabulary is simple. All right, but then you will hear different people saying, talk about, introduce themselves. So it will challenge a bit of your listening. So really like it. And here you still have the English for the Cantonese and Mandarin, and even with the romanization as well. Okay, so the best part I like is this one. They are all about time, like 年, and then very systematically, how many 年之前, 3年前, like 3 years ago, last year, the year before last year, this year, next year, the next year, And then many years later, like 5年後，好 and then the month, you see, this month, that next month, blah blah blah, and day, how many days before? 7日前 like 1 week, 一星期前 something 今日、聽日、後日, like this kind of things you probably, oh yeah, that's simple, I remember. But if you need to say it and then you say it like a everyday conversation, like every day you have to say words related to time, date, month, week, then it's gonna be very useful with a list like this. And the basic thing like I, we, you, the pronoun, and this one is for Mandarin speaking people to practice the how to say something, the pronunciation, difficult pronunciation. And this is also good because it's help you to differentiate the difference, recognize the difference between different words and tones and the romanization, like the initial and the final. Okay, so this one is very nice. So it talks about something you would not find in the first green book. They was teaching you the measure word right away, and some important stuff though, and then some finals okay, so this is very good because you always ask me about how to use this particle that express your mood. It's very well listed here. 去食飯啦，好啊，好啊。Okay, so I still have some content to practice your speaking practice. And then I really like this one is already talks about the degree, like bigger, more, better, cheaper. Okay, and then talk about time. 1個鐘、半個鐘、1個字、5分鐘 that's 5分鐘、1個骨、15分鐘，係啦。And then they have this is like very important. They will teach you immediately the difference between Mandarin and Cantonese. 咗 and then they give you really good example. And 過緊完讀完書行緊。我去過中國，本書貴咗喎。OK， 佢哋嚟咗香港1個禮拜。So these two they are different. 嚟咗 is like a past tense, but this one is talking about the book is more expensive. Alright, so we can discover this slightly different. But in the first book, you probably need to wait a bit before they introduce it. So 晒 is you finished the whole book. 睇晒呢本書，睇晒呢本書。依家間房靚晒 like totally improved the outlook. 多謝係啦，晒唔該晒。美 and then we keep talking about 美 and then they have some good explanation as well. 坐遲下，我要休息下。So the particle in the end, and 佢有嚟過啊，有嚟過啊。Okay, so 好，貨喎啦啦嗱，咯。Alright. So this is all the final that you guys want to understand. So it's immediately introduced in the first chapter. So I kind of read until the half of the book, as you can see. So I feel confident of this first half of the book already, and I super like it. And it looks no English, but it's still we can manage. All right, so this one also talk about the how to describe more. For example, this is 大約 around, approximately, and actually they are all about approximately. Like it is approximately 5 o'clock, or it's approximately 1,000 people here. So you can see there's different ways to say the same thing. That helps you to understand more. Okay. Then we get to the scene. Yeah. 俾 as well. So it can be a good review as well. Then come back. Because it's the first book and it's always beginner. Alright. 唔止仲遮詐詐添 they're all like the mood particle. 添 Okay, so this one is 邊點幾乜嘢. So it's all about the question words, but they have a very concise way to introduce it to you, so they don't put too much sentence. They just highlight 1 or 2. So it's good for reading, isn't it? And then this is location, 上邊下邊前邊. So it's perfectly listed. The case is it has no English. Sometimes when you see English, you will tend to read English first. But if there's no English, you will tend to rely on the yell or rely on the characters. So it helps your reading eventually. 低, so this is the 寫低, 記低, 留低. Then it's the verb particle I mentioned for long. So it's really good one. Right? So then we will come to a point that how can we have this book? For I know you have this one, and then we'll see about that. No worries about the book. It's very convenient. All right, so keep the confidence in the materials we use, and then we are going to make another progress in the upper beginner level, or even like this is upper beginner, this is intermediate, and then after that will be the third one. Then will be almost advanced level. For me, the content is for a student in Hong Kong, like secondary school student to read. It's not for primary school student. So probably this one can be used as well. So this is the first and this is the second of this series. All right, so I will stop here. So I hope you understand all the information, but we can talk about it more later.